Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
I don't see us ever digging out of that. I see us becoming a banana republic, Dr. Roberts.
Well, Alex, if I was this elite and I was that clever, I would rather be taking the cream off the top of a highly prosperous and successful country. I don't see how it would be my advantage to run it into the ground. So this I think is what's problematic about the elite wanting to destroy the country. I can see they would want to have power and more control, but they certainly don't gain from creating a situation in which they can't borrow money and in which they can't fund the military.
Oh, no. Listen, I agree with you that it's gotten out of their control, and I've had a lot of other analysts on, and I want to see if you disagree with them, but they're saying they planned to get everybody in debt. They wanted to create these fraudulent securities to leverage them to buy up more real assets and commodities, and that it did get out of control a couple of years ago.
Well, Alex, I don't think they planned to get everybody in debt. What they did, they fooled themselves with free trade theory and thought that offshoring was free trade and that we would benefit. And when they found out what they were really doing is killing consumer demand because people were losing the jobs and the incomes, then they said, oh, well, we can substitute low interest rates and a housing boom. If we drive up their housing prices, they'll be richer, they can refinance them and spend the money.
And we'll have a service economy, and we'll call putting a hamburger together manufacturing.
So I think it's really just a low grade of fault rather than a super mind out there.
Okay, well then what is Homeland Security all about? I mean, you've written a book about it. You know it's martial law. You know they're gearing up for it. They admit they are. Both parties are bought and paid for by the same interest. I mean, what is all that for?
Yeah, that question deserves far more attention than it gets. It's obviously not about terrorists, which there aren't any. I would say that the police agencies never want to be accountable. They never want accountability. Years ago in New York, they were trying to have police review boards, and the police were fussing, the conservatives were fussing. This would make the police ineffectual and all that. They don't like accountability, and so they've always got some kind of legislation on hand that makes them less accountable and gives them more power, and they use whatever happens to advance that. Because the Patriot Act, for example, was written long before 9/11, and even before anybody planned 9/11, because it was waiting for an opportunity. So they always want to be unaccountable. They don't like accountability.
No, that's right. Viet Dinh and Ashcroft and Chertoff, they admittedly just bundled a lot of other laws they'd already tried to pass. I mean, that's admitted. Some of it written in the 80s, and just stuck it all together and then passed it.
That's right. And of course, the law and order conservatives who think that crime is rampant, they always want the police to have more power and be less accountable. So there's so many factors out there pushing for unaccountability that.
Just like on the economy. So where do you see the economy going? I mean, this looks like.
Well, that's another very important question. In the past, when we had a recession because the economy heated up, inflation moved up, the Fed cut down on the money supply, sales fell off, inventories built, firms laid off workers, and then when the recession set in, the Fed would switch gears and lower the interest rates again and get the credit out, and things would pick back up, and sales would pick up, and they would rehire the workers. Well, that's not what we've got anymore. The jobs are gone. They're offshore. The consumer is overloaded with debt, credit card debt, mortgage debt. You can't get any more consumer demand out of debt expansion. They don't have any ability to bear any more debt. And the jobs are gone, so they can't pull those back with an recessionary policy. So the question is, what will cause the economy to pick up? I think that's an open question. I don't know what.
And maybe that's why they want to start World War III.
Well, since they have no way to finance the war except foreign borrowing, I don't know if the foreigners want us to start World War III. Do they want to lend us the money to start it? I don't know. But those are the kinds of constraints that are not discussed in the media. They're not discussed in the presidential campaign.
Well, what about this? They're not even talking about prosecuting anybody or even investigating to prosecute with all the scams that have been going on. I mean, that's another dangerous sign right there.
Yes, I think it is, and the fact that Cheney's lawyer forged the signature of the Attorney General on a document that the Department of Justice would not approve. This is now...
And now it just came out, tens of millions of fines under Cheney's orders when he headed up Halliburton to Nigeria, and nothing happens. It comes out in major papers.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like corruption is just running rampant.
There's a lack of any kind of accountability, and this is an extremely serious problem for the social and political order, for the legal order. It's like the laws just are not applied. They're not enforced, and it's very difficult to describe a socio-political system that doesn't apply its own laws.
It's a kleptocracy. It's a selectively enforced kleptocracy where the elite are above the law but then write unconstitutional laws for we the people.
Well, you see, not all the elite above. I mean, Lehman Brothers has to be the elite, and they're going down the tubes. Merrill Lynch is the most famous brokerage firm in the world, and they had to become part of a commercial bank. So it's just difficult to understand, other than the American people don't seem to have any real awareness of what is transpiring and of the risk to the kind of social economic system they live in and to them personally. And so it seems like what we are witnessing is a dissolution.
A mass mental illness.
Apart.
Stay there. We got a break. Stay there for 1 second. I want to say bye to you during the break.